On New Year's Eve, I arrived unannounced at my daughter's doorstep. The bitter wind of Denver whipped through the streets like a relentless enemy, carrying snow that bit at my exposed skin like shrapnel. At 58, after 30 years as a wildfire fighter in the Rocky Mountains, I'd battled infernos that devoured forests and homes, but this cold was different. It clawed at my soul, reminding me of the fragility I'd tried to forget. I gripped my backpack tighter, my calloused hands aching from the chill despite the gloves. I'd driven all night from Montana, where I'd retired to a quiet cabin eager to surprise Ava. My only daughter, the girl who'd been my anchor through every blaze and loss. I imagined her eyes widening, her hug tight, just like when she was a kid and I'd returned from weeks on the fire line, smelling of smoke and survival. The truck I'd borrowed from an old crewmate rumbled to a stop a few blocks from her house in Cherry Creek, a neighborhood of manicured mansions and holiday lights that twinkled like false promises. Ava had married into the Sterling family 2 years ago. Lucas Sterling, her husband, came from oil money, his father, Victor, a tycoon with fingers in state politics, his mother, Beatrice, a former model who hosted lavish fundraisers but hid a tongue sharp as a knife. His brother, Damien, was there too, with his wife and their toddler, all part of the perfect family image. I'd attended the wedding, toasts flowing like rivers, but their politeness had always felt thin, like ice ready to crack. Still, Ava glowed with happiness, and I told myself that was enough. As I walked the snow-covered sidewalk, my boots leaving deep prints, memories flooded me. The last call with Ava, a month ago, her voice strained but insisting she was fine. She'd mentioned the holidays would be busy, but I heard the undertone, the exhaustion, the hint of tears she swallowed. I'd been absent too often during her childhood, fighting fires while her mother, my ex-wife, raised her alone until cancer took her when Ava was 12. I stepped in then, teaching her to be tough, to face the flames of life head-on. But now, as I neared the house, a knot of worry tightened in my chest. The Sterling home loomed, its windows aglow with warm light, strings of icicle lights dripping from the eaves. Laughter echoed from inside, mixed with the pop of champagne corks and the faint strains of Auld Lang Syne from a speaker. Through the large bay window, I saw the family gathered around a massive dining table covered in a white linen cloth, laden with extravagance, a prime rib roast carved to perfection, truffle mashed potatoes, asparagus with hollandaise, and crystal flutes bubbling with Dom Perignon. Victor sat at the head, his gray suit impeccable, raising a toast. Beatrice, in a sequined dress, clinked glasses with Damien's wife, Clara, while the toddler banged a spoon on his high chair, giggling. Lucas stood by the marble fireplace, stoking the flames, his laugh deep and carefree. But Ava was nowhere in sight. I scanned the room, my breath clouding the glass. Not at the table. Not in the adjacent kitchen, where a caterer bustled. A chill unrelated to the weather crept over me. Then, a faint sniffle from the back patio. I circled the house, my heart pounding. There, on a stone bench under a bare arbor, sat my daughter. Ava, in a simple cotton dress and cardigan, her arms wrapped around herself, shivering in the 25-degree night. Snowflakes dusted her dark hair, her bare feet tucked under her, toes curled against the cold stone. No coat. No shoes. Just the merciless wind whipping through her. My world stopped. Ava. I dropped my backpack and ran to her, stripping off my heavy jacket to wrap around her. Her skin was like ice, her lips tinged blue, her body racked with tremors. Sweetheart, what happened? Why are you out here? She looked up, eyes red and puffy, tears freezing on her lashes. Mom? Her voice was a broken whisper, barely audible over the wind. She leaned into me, her head on my shoulder, sobs shaking her frail frame. I held her close, rubbing her arms, feeling the fragility that hadn't been there before. Rage ignited in my chest, hot as any wildfire I'd fought, but I focused on her, getting her warm, getting her inside. I lifted her effortlessly, she was lighter than a hose pack, like sorrow had eaten away at her. Her bare feet dangled, leaving no prints in the snow as I carried her to the back door. Inside, the celebration continued, voices raised in a toast. I heard Lucas's baritone, to another year of success, without the drama. Laughter followed, clinks like mocking bells. Flashbacks assaulted me as I approached the door. Just hours earlier, I'd been at a truck stop outside Denver, fueling up, my thermos of black coffee steaming in the cab. The radio played holiday tunes, families pulling in for last-minute trips. I'd called Ava from there, excited to hear her voice. Ring after ring, no answer. Texted, on my way, surprise. Nothing. Uneasy nod, but I dismissed it. Maybe she was setting the table, arranging the sterling silverware Beatrice prized. Or wrapping gifts, like she did as a kid, her tongue sticking out in concentration. The drive through the city had been slow, roads slick with ice, traffic thick with revelers heading to parties. At a stoplight near downtown, I spotted a familiar face among the traffic cops, Riley, a young firefighter I'd trained years ago. He'd switched to police work after an injury, but kept the same fierce gaze. Tall, with a scar on his cheek from a backdraft, he directed cars with precise gestures. "Riley!" I shouted through the window. He turned, his face lighting up under his hat. "Captain Ellis? What brings you to Denver?" "New Year's with Ava. My daughter, remember her from the station picnics?" His expression shifted, a shadow crossing his eyes. "Yeah. Ava. How's she doing?" "Fine, I hope." "Why the look?" He hesitated, glancing at the cars. "Just, be careful." "Happy New Year, Cap." The light changed, and I drove on, that shadow lingering like smoke. Now, with Ava in my arms, that shadow became a storm. I pounded on the glass door with my elbow, the sound echoing. The music paused. Footsteps hurried. Beatrice slid the door open, her sequins sparkling, a flute in hand. Her smile faltered. "Laura. This is unexpected. Why didn't you call?" I pushed past her, laying Ava on the leather sectional by the fire. "Unexpected? Your son left my daughter to freeze to death. Look at her." The room went silent. Victor set down his glass with a thud. Clara pulled the toddler close. Damien crossed his arms. Lucas approached, face hardening. She was upset. Needed space. "It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal?" I snapped, tucking a blanket around Ava. "It's below freezing. She's hypothermic." Beatrice sighed, swirling her champagne. "Ava's always so sensitive. The holidays bring out her issues." "Issues?" I whirled. "You mean the 2 miscarriages you've made her feel like failures for?" The word hung heavy. Ava had confided in me about them, the first at 10 weeks, after a family dinner where Beatrice grilled her about heirs. The second at 14 weeks, blamed on her lifestyle by Lucas. I'd sent money for fertility treatments, listened to her weep over the phone, helpless from my cabin. Each loss had chipped away at her spirit, and now this exiled to the cold like an unwanted guest. Damien snorted. "She's dramatic. Can't handle the pressure of being a sterling. 2 losses? Maybe she's not cut out for it." The toddler mimicked, "Aunt Ava bad." My fists clenched. "You vipers. All of you." Victor rose, voice commanding as a boardroom. "This is our home, Laura. Private affairs. Ava knows what's expected." "Expected?" I echoed, stepping into his space. "To be your broodmare?" I've heard the whispers, the insults, the isolation. But this is cruelty. Ava murmured from the couch, "Mom, stop he please." But I couldn't. The Sterlings exchanged glances, their elegance masking ugliness. Beatrice sipped her drink. "She's infertile, dear. A liability. We've been tolerant." Liability. The word fueled my fire. I grabbed my phone. "I'm calling the police." This is abuse. Lucas laughed. Try it. Dad's golf buddies with the chief. See how that plays. I dialed, reporting the incident, my voice steady as in a fire report. As I hung, I saw Riley through the window, his patrol car pulling up, perhaps on patrol or intuition. His eyes met mine, filled with resolve. He entered, badge flashing. Ma'am, I got the call. What's the situation? His presence tilted the balance. The Sterlings tensed. Victor stepped forward. Officer, a misunderstanding. No need for official involvement. Riley assessed Ava, his jaw clenching. Looks like neglect at least. Possible abuse. That night, Riley helped me get Ava to an ER for warming and checks. She was stable, but the doctor noted malnutrition, anxiety, signs of prolonged stress. We crashed at a motel. Ava broke down over tea. They hate me, Mom. Because I can't have kids. Lucas controls the money, the friends. Beatrice calls me the empty vessel. Damien's family teases. I tried to leave, but Lucas said he'd destroy me. I held her, flames of vengeance roaring. Not on my watch. The following weeks were a battle plan. I rented a small condo in Denver, using my pension. Riley visited, bringing takeout, sharing fire stories to lift Ava's spirits. He'd lost his partner in a blaze, but his heart was unscarred. You're a survivor, he told her. We filed for divorce. My lawyer, a tenacious ex-JAG officer, compiled evidence, emotional abuse, financial manipulation, medical records linking depression to the miscarriages. I provided transfer receipts, thousands I'd sent for essentials, but Lucas had diverted most. The Sterlings countered with a powerhouse team. Discovery uncovered emails, Beatrice to Lucas, dump her if she can't deliver. Damien's texts ridiculing Ava's grief. But in court, it burned to ash. The judge, Judge Monroe, had oil ties to Victor, donations, shared hunts. Evidence circumstantial. Riley's testimony conflicted because we'd trained together. A nanny testified for them, claiming Ava was withdrawn, unfit. I confronted the nanny outside. How much for your soul? She whispered, they threatened my job. The verdict, divorce approved, but no abuse acknowledged. Assets to Lucas's the house, investments, even Ava's art supplies. She got scraps. In the courtroom, Lucas whispered, told you, has been. We own this town. Riley lunged, scar flushing red. You scum. Ava stopped him, sobbing. No fights. I want peace. Cameras rolled. The video exploded online. Firefighter mom battles oil dynasty for daughter. Hashtag Sterling scandal trended. Protests at Victor's offices. Investors fled. The empire cracked, environmental suits surfaced, inspired by our fight. Ava and I rebuilt in the condo. Therapy mended her. Riley became constant, his kindness a spark. One summer evening, by the Platte River, he proposed. Kids or no, you're my world. They wed simply, me beaming. The Sterlings? Ruined, shunned. Lucas alone, sued by ex-employees. Beatrice's events boycotted. Victor bankrupt. Revenge was endurance, love the true fire. If in my boots, would you battle? Your tale could ignite hope. This story is fictional, drawn from real pains. Names altered for protection. We share to inspire reflection on silent suffering. God bless the fighters.